Today's video is not sponsored.
Hello my bad bees, it's your girl Erin B and I'm back. I have my coffee, so I'm ready to jump into today's video. It's actually gonna be really fun. Hold on, I need a sip. All right, I'm actually really excited to do today's video because I haven't done a yarn haul here on my channel in quite a long time. Oh, I'm super hyped now. These are gorgeous. And I actually purchased all of these yarns off of lovecrafts.com. And I just have a mixture of different brands here inside of this box. So no, I'm not being sponsored by any of the yarn brands that I'm about to show you or lovecrafts.com. And I just wanted to test out a bunch of new yarns that I have personally never tried myself. So all of these yarns are going to be a first for me. I'm trying to just pick out a bunch of new yarns as well to use in my upcoming home decor tutorials. So, you know, I'm trying to prep for that, guys. So let's just go ahead and start off with some really gorgeous, colorful ones. So this first yarn that I picked off of lovecrafts.com is the Nora yarn. And can you guys just take a second to appreciate these colors? They're even more gorgeous than how they looked online. Oh my gosh, wow, honestly, it's just like a huge rainbow. But let's give you guys some details about this beauty. So this really gorgeous yarn by Nora Yarns is their Silk Garden yarn, and it's 45% silk, 45% mohair, and 10% wool. So I actually didn't even pay attention to that when I was buying this online. I just saw the colorway and instantly I was caught. Like, this is stunning. These are honestly all of my favorite colors kind of mixed up together. So you've got really gorgeous like aqua green colors, bright fuchsia purples, and then even this really pretty like peachy and yellow tones. And this one skein is also 50 grams, which gets you to 100 meters of yarn. You already guessed it. This is also a number 4 worsted weight yarn. And honestly, I'm not too sure yet what I plan to make with such a colorful ball of yarn, but something that I've kind of been bouncing around in my head is to make a new tutorial, thinking that I might make a new crop top tutorial getting ready for spring and all that. But I'm kind of thinking of making the pattern half knitted and half crochet. So I feel like that'd be a very unique and one of a kind type of top. So I'm not too sure if you guys will be able to see, but this I believe is a roving style yarn. And if you guys take a really close glance, there's a bunch of different colors and strands mixed into the main central yarn. So even this like pinky section here does have like some aqua green in it. And then over here in the actual green section, there are some like orangey and peachy shades mixed in. So it's very unique. Oh, and at the time that I purchased all of these yarns, lovecrafts.com was having a, I think, 20% off sale. So I believe that I got this discounted at about $7 or $8. So I'm definitely gonna have to spend more time and think more clearly about which project I want to use this for. But I'm really liking the idea of knitting with this roving style yarn just because I really do want part of the top to be very stretchy and, you know, pliable so you can pull it on and pull it off. And that way your crochet sections don't get too stretched out. But again, I would really classify this as a roving style yarn. It's honestly so gorgeous. Can you guys see all of these colors in here? Like, even look here. Ugh. This is literally just like rainbow in a ball, but this is number 1. This is the Nora Silk Garden. Dang, I only got one. I should have definitely gotten either a second skein or other colorways, but I'm gonna keep my eye out for hopefully another sale soon because I would love to grab this in a couple more colorways and see what other variety Nora Yarns has. But like I said earlier, I have never used Nora Yarns, and honestly, I have been watching them and like stalking Lovecrafts for a very long time just because they have such a huge variety and line of yarns that I cannot believe this is the first time I'm picking this up. But this is also made in Japan, so go my Asian people. Yes, I'm half Asian, so represent. Very proud. Oh. All right, so next up is, of course, Lion Brand. Yes, I have used Lion Brand before, but this is their 24/7 cotton yarn. And no, I personally have never touched their 24/7 cotton yarn. And I've been talking about this a lot here recently on my channel, but over the next few months of 2022, I really want to start to get into home decor and just crochet home decor goodies for your home Duh, that's what home decor means.
Clap if you care. Clap if you care.
But I read a lot of reviews online and people were saying that 24/7 cotton by Lion Brand was a pretty strong type of yarn to use for like home decor and home accessories. So I went ahead and picked up 2 skeins in their colorway Camel. So this is a really nice like mustardy yellow shade. I feel like this is a really great standout statement piece for your home. So I'm not too sure what I will be using this cotton yarn with. So their 24/7 cotton yarn is a, what the heck? No way, Lion Brand has got to be lying.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
So they said that this yarn is a number 4 worsted weight yarn, and honestly, in my opinion, this definitely looks a lot more like a DK or even a sport weight yarn. It's super thin. I don't think I would use anything bigger than like a 4mm hook for this type of yarn. So at most, I personally would classify this as a DK weight yarn. But what really caught my eye about this yarn is that it is a chainette structure. So I hope that you guys are able to see that. But this isn't like those normal yarns that are kind of like wound up and twisted amongst each other. This definitely has like a chainette construction, or kind of like a rope-like construction. I don't know the correct terminology for that. But again, I was definitely on the hunt for more of a durable type of yarn, hopefully something that won't pill or flake on me. And I felt like the chainette construction was gonna serve a really great purpose, hopefully for maybe baskets around your home or even pillows. But because this is so thin, I think I probably should have gotten more than 2 balls of yarn. So hopefully this will get me far enough. But this 1 skein of yarn does get me 3.5 ounces or 186 yards of yarn. So I feel like that's pretty good. Again, this was on sale. So I think I got each skein for probably like $4 each or $3 each. I don't remember. I'm not gonna pull up the receipts, but it was around there, around the $3 to $4 mark. And they also suggest that you use a, yeah, exactly. They say 4mm crochet hook. So definitely if I want more of a tighter knit item or tighter crocheted item, I'd probably size down. That's kind of my theme here on my channel, is whatever the recommended hook size is, I normally like to choose that size or size down a little bit, just because I like my stuff to be very solid and not see-through. And I don't want, you know, your earrings or anything to get caught, you know, on the yarn. So tighter construction, more durable, more safe, I think. Yeah, but anyways, I picked out these 2 skeins in the shade Camel. And likewise, I also want to pick out a different shade of the 24/7 cotton yarn, just to give myself a little bit of versatility. Again, I went with a really pretty cream shade. Oh, these are the Ecru?
Stop it. Get some help.
Somebody help me out. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Ecru. But it's a very nice kind of off-white shade. I don't know why I'm being so lazy and like not pulling it out of the packaging, but for the sake of, you know, dog hair being all over my house, I think I might keep it safe in here for now. But hopefully you guys can see that it is a very kind of creamy, beigey, just off-white shade. Again, I wanted to pick out more neutral or earth tones just to help decorate your home. I didn't want to pick out anything too crazy because, again, this can go on your couch or on your bed, or again, who knows what I'm really going to be making with these yet. But, you know, home decor, gotta keep it neutral. I feel like neutral is the way to go, at least for like a beginning, a basics tutorial. So yeah, I'm gonna test out 24/7 cotton yarn. I'm really hoping that the chainette construction of the yarn is going to pay off. Oh, and it also says here that the 24/7 cotton yarn is machine washable and dryable. So again, because this yarn is constructed a little bit differently, I would actually feel very safe throwing this yarn in the washer and the dryer. Personally, like the #1 yarns that I would never feel safe or comfortable putting in the washer or dryer are 100% acrylic yarns and wool yarns. But with a cotton yarn, honestly, I'm just gonna give it a go. I'll throw it in the dryer. I'm not scared. What? So what? I'm not scared of anything. I'm lying. I have a lot of fears. All right, meltdown over. Let's move on to the next few yarns. All right, so next up is another brand of yarn that I have never tried before, so I'm really excited to get my hands on some of these. But this is the Plymouth Yarn Company in their line Gina. So as you guys can see here, I'm definitely on a color kick. I'm no longer afraid of using very bright and vibrant colors here on my channel. Actually, the more that I've gotten into color, the more that I become addicted and I cannot stop.
No, I don't think you understand. I'm obsessed.
So this first yarn that I picked out is in the colorway number 2, and then this one with a little bit more blue in it is in the colorway 15. So again, a ton of color in these yarns. Let's start off with this first one. So obviously these are definitely my colors. Believe it or not, I personally don't really like any kind of pinky or peachy shades, but recently I have been dying over shades of pink that have a little bit more of like coral and orangey, burnt orange shades in them. So this was right up my alley. You guys can see here, there's a lot more of like a standard autumnal kind of burnt orange in there. And then over here, you've got that brighter like salmon pink. But of course, to kind of contrast it, there is this really gorgeous, just standard greenery, forest green shade. So again, not too sure what I'm going to work up with this yarn. If you guys have suggestions for me, please leave them down below. I always need help with, you know, creativity and inspiration. And whenever you guys leave helpful comments down below, it really helps me to get my juices flowing. But again, this is also another roving style yarn, but some sections are a little bit thicker wound, and then some do get a little bit thinner like right there. So I'm really excited to see how this works up. But the Gina yarns are 100% wool. So again, I personally would never throw this in the washer or the dryer. This is definitely a like wash by hand type of yarn. I honestly have no idea what to make with this. Isn't that kind of crazy? I just bought the yarn. I guess that's what makes me a yarn addict. That's how you know you have a problem. You don't really have an intent for it, but you just need it. You just need it. Definitely, I'm going to be using this hopefully in the next few months. So this isn't something that's going to sit on my shelf for too long. But like I was saying, the Gina yarn is 100% wool, and this one skein is 50 grams. So it gets you to about 109 yards. Not too shabby. I believe I purchased this around $5 or $6 because it was on sale. And because this was a brand that I've never tried before, I just had to splurge. I had to get it for myself. So this was shade number 2. And then moving on here to shade number 15. So again, you guys can see here, there is kind of a bright pinky peachy shade, but it's definitely not as vibrant as the one in shade number 2. So it's a little bit more muted, a little bit more pastel-y, but still a really gorgeous salmon color. And then of course there is a little bit more of like a very bright tangerine shade right there. So that definitely caught my eye. And then over here on the other side of the yarn, there is a very bright like cobalt sky blue. I don't know if the camera is able to pick this up, but again, really similar to the Nora yarn that I picked out. With this roving style yarn, there are multiple different shades mixed into one strand of yarn. So hopefully you guys can see that with the blue sections, there is a little hint of that pinky peachy salmon shade. And then let's come over here to this deeper red section. There is a little bit of the previous blue yarn mixed into this more full red section. So I'm really loving just how multicolored and multi-dimensional these yarns are. Ooh, and I didn't even see this online in the photos, but as you guys can see here, there's this really bright, like limey green color. And that's another color that I can't say no to. It's like my vibe now. It's like my new thing, obviously. I'm really getting into color here on my channel. And you know what, with spring coming up really quickly here around the corner, I feel like choosing very bright, vibrant, colorful yarns is definitely the way to go this year. You guys saw last year I was very neutral. So for 2022, we're stepping up the color, the spice, the flavor. So again, because I only have one skein in each shade, I'm not too sure what to make with these two. Maybe I can kind of mix up the two and switch every couple of rows just to kind of incorporate the two yarns with each other because they are pretty darn similar. So again, if you guys have suggestions or beautiful recommendations for me, let me know down below because your girl's lost. I need help. All right, the second to last yarn is actually a yarn that I have used here on my channel before, but never in this colorway. So I went ahead and picked out 3 different skeins of the Wool Ease yarn. Actually, you know what? I've never used standard Wool Ease yarn before. I have used a bunch of their thick and quick type of yarn. So I believe it's like a number 5 or number 6 type of yarn. But this standard Wool Ease yarn is a number 4 medium worsted weight yarn. And this is right up my alley. I would definitely classify this as a standard worsted weight yarn. So I already know how to work with it. I can already kind of assume what it's going to look like, but I purchased these 3 skeins again with the intent of just building up my home decor selection. I'm thinking that I might actually make pillows with the Wool Ease yarn as well, just because this is a lot more squishy and soft compared to the 24/7 cotton yarn. For a cotton yarn, this is pretty comfortable, but it's definitely not the softest yarn that I've ever touched before. And there's definitely like no there's definitely no squish to this yarn. It's pretty dense, and what you see is really kind of just what you get with this yarn. But I really love Wool Ease yarns because they are so bouncy and squishy. I already know that this is going to be one of my all-time favorite go-to yarns, but hopefully you guys are able to see just how squishy and fluffy this yarn is, and very similar to Lion Brand's Wool Ease Thick and Quick. Their standard Wool Ease here is 20% wool and 80% acrylic. So I'm always a big fan of choosing yarns that have multiple mixtures or multiple, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm always a really big fan of using yarns that have multiple fabrics inside them. So with this 80% acrylic and 20% wool, you do get the really soft touchability of the acrylic, but with the wool, you do get a little bit of fuzziness, a very slight halo, but again, it's just wool. And as you guys know, wool is a self-regulating, heat-regulating type of yarn. So I feel like this would be a really good option for home decor like the pillows. Of course, I've heard of people using Wool Ease yarn to make blankets and beanies and what have you. But because this is so touchably soft, what could be better than a homemade pillow? And of course, with this cream color, I believe this is in the shade Fisherman. So again, it's another slightly off-white yarn. My light here is probably washing it out a little bit too much, but if I kind of turn up the color here, you guys are able to see that this looks very creamy, almost 100% pure white, but there is just like a little bit of like fishbone shade in there, just a slight ecru, if you will, type of color. So right up my alley again. I'm really excited to dive into this and use it. And with this one skein, you do get 3 ounces of yarn. So this turns out to be 197 yards of yarn. And even though you do get a ton of yardage with this yarn, because it was on sale, I wanted to make sure that I had enough for whatever project. So I went ahead and got 3 skeins, which is what I should have done with all the other yarns. But instead I only got 1. I made life really difficult for myself. I might be purchasing more Lovecrafts yarn very, very soon. And the last thing I wanted to know about this yarn is that they do recommend using a 6mm crochet hook. So thankfully, as you guys know, because I am currently in the process of making my own handmade resin crochet hook sets. That is a whole sentence. Try saying that 5 times fast. Because I'm making my own resin hooks available for pre-order very soon, I now have a 6mm crochet hook in my collection. So at the end of this video, when I go to make all of the gauge swatch test pieces with all of my different yarns, I will make sure to use my new resin crochet hooks. I know y'all really want to see those in action, and they're freaking gorgeous, let me tell you. I can't get over it. I've been using them every single day ever since I started making them. So stay tuned for the announcement of the merch drop, hopefully by the end of February. I'm really excited. I'm also currently working on setting up a new website. So, you know, trying to step up my game, be more professional, be more customizable. But let's just go ahead and move on to the very last and final yarn I was saving this bad boy for last because you guys are gonna flip your shit. I'm pretty sure after I show you guys this, you're all gonna go onto Lovecrafts and try to order yourself some. So hurry before it sells out. But last but not least, this is the Barocco tiramisu yarn. And before I even give you guys any details, let's take a moment to appreciate this. Y'all think that this one skein is pretty? Let's hold up the other one. And yes, these are in the same exact colorway, but just look at the quality of this yarn. This screams chef's kiss. I have never seen a yarn like this before. I personally have never used a Barocco yarn, so I'm really excited again to finally be purchasing some for myself. I just have no words. I'm screaming internally. Let's just show you some more of the colors here before I give you guys the information. But you guys can clearly see the halo from this yarn. It's gorgeous, not to mention all of the color. Definitely, I'm on a color kick. I won't deny it. Proof is in the pudding. Probably the coolest find of yarn that I've come across in several months. So like I said, this is the Barocco yarn in their line Tiramisu. And there's no name on this yarn, but these are in the color 9242. But one skein does get me 1.75 ounces, which roughly translates to 137 yards of yarn. And again, I don't really know what I plan on making with this yarn, but again, because I'm on this pillow kick, I can't let go of it. I'm honestly thinking that I could knit up a pillow with this yarn just because it's a lot more fine. Oh, so I'm gonna do my best to show you guys, but hopefully it translates on camera. I believe this is another roving style yarn. The yarn itself definitely wraps and twists, and some parts are a little bit thicker than other parts. Personally, this section right here, I would classify as a #1 fingering weight yarn, but you know, my scale is very different to everybody else's. And then these super thin sections have got to be lace weight, probably like a #0 type of yarn. I don't even know if my crochet hook could pick that up. So I didn't realize, honestly, how tiny and petite this yarn was. So I'm definitely gonna say that crocheting with this yarn is probably not the way that I should go. I'm definitely leaning more to a knit version with this yarn. I feel like a really dainty and thin knitted pillow with such crazy colors would make a super statement piece for your home. Definitely eye-catching. Let's just go ahead and give you guys a little bit of information about this yarn. This tiramisu yarn is 38% wool, 28% acrylic, 23% mohair, and 11% silk. Y'all, in this one skein of yarn, there's wool, acrylic, mohair, and silk. So definitely the mohair and the wool is what's giving this yarn such a halo. Can y'all see the fluffy cloud-like structure of this? This is actually very insane. I've never used a yarn anything close to this before, and I personally would say this is very airy, extremely lightweight, but this is so cute. I can't get over this. I almost don't want to open this up and use it because this would look so gorgeous just sitting on my shelf, but I won't leave you alone. I'll put you to good use, I promise. You just hold on. All right, and lastly, they do classify this yarn, get out. Everybody's lying today. I don't buy it.
Stop your fucking lying.
They say this yarn is a #4 medium weight yarn. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. I don't believe it. Maybe the way I'm supposed to knit with this yarn is double stranded. So maybe I'm supposed to grab these really thin sections and then also knit it up with the corresponding chunky piece. Maybe it's supposed to be like that. I'm honestly not too sure now how to use this yarn, but I do know that with a ton of mohair yarns, because there is such a cloud-like halo with the yarn, that they do work up a lot thicker than they look. Ugh, can we just appreciate this section right here? All of these lime greens and aqua blues. And then again, the magentas. Y'all, I have a sickness. What's wrong with me? I literally bought 3 different types of yarn that are pretty much like all the same. Nah, I'm kidding. All my crocheters and knitters out there and fiber artists know that all three of these yarns are drastically different from each other, even though they do have somewhat of a similar color palette. Each one's gonna work up very differently. I'm speechless. Just look at the collection now. I'm very proud of myself, stepping outside of my comfort zone while also falling back on some standard oldies but goodies. And lastly, with the tiramisu yarn, they do suggest to use a 4.5 or 5mm knitting needles. And as for a crochet hook, they do suggest to use a 4.5mm crochet hook. So this probably works up very fluffy, very dense for what it looks like. And I'm really excited to get my hands on this. So that's literally all that I have for you guys. This has been the biggest yarn haul that I've done for myself in months. Usually whenever I go to the store, I'm only ever really picking out like 2 or 3 different skeins, and they're always for like custom orders. So finally I get to show you guys new yarns that are new to me. I hope you guys like these yarn hauls, yarn reviews. So this is all I have for today's yarn haul. Crazy. I'm really happy with the color selection. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting me. And at this point in the video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. What are y'all doing? Why are you wasting time? Support your girl. And you know, if you guys want to see more videos like this, subscribe and you shall receive. And this is pretty much going to wrap up my newest 2022 yarn haul. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Bye.